Well, then what was a typical date like then? Did you just say like, let's get on a Zoom call and do it, or what did you do with it?
Yeah, so I tried to make them. I wanted to make them fun. It's
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, like my creativity was it was tough to get creative with these when like because I feel like there's only so much you could do virtually, right? And
Right.
so I really got to the drawing board on what I could do. So I'd wear wacky outfits for some of them because as the MC and the entertainer for the baseball team, I do have some like different colored suits and things like that. So I'd wear those like based on where the date was. I would do like there was a date where I did a couple magic tricks. I bought a couple of my dates dinner. I'm trying to think what else. Like, I'd play some games like categories or never have I ever, things like that. I'm like kind of known for this a little bit, but like shotgunning beers and stuff. Like we do a couple of shotguns on my dates or taking shots. So I always tried to make fun in that way instead of just hopping on talking because and don't get me wrong, I did that with a handful of them, and that's where it was just tough because I didn't know how else I could get creative and whatnot. Or sometimes I'd have like back to back to back dates, and I'd
Hmm.
be like, okay, like I'm doing it for this one, and I got to talk on this one, and then so this is kind of a puzzle to put together.
That's interesting. And disclaimer: we are of age, so anyone under 21, do not do that. You got to do
Absolutely.
the. So, was it weird then first doing the dates? Maybe not the ones you knew, but like right when you reach out to strangers, like with these ideas, and did you think it was weird doing it, like as you were talking, or did it like loosen up as the dates went along? Then.
Definitely loosened up as the dates went along. Like there were things that I would think of that I wanted to do on a date, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't like start off like, oh hey, I'm Matt, and then I'm gonna show you this magic trick. Like it would like never be like that. Like I would always play the date out and we'd see how things were, or I'd talk to him about it in Tinder or in Insta or whatever it was before I got on the date.
Yeah.
Like oh hey, like with Tennessee, I'm like hey, we should have mimosas on
Mhm.
Sunday morning or whatever. And she's like, oh, that'd be awesome. And so when we get on, like we're cheersing with our mimosas and we start talking about like bar drinks and stuff like that. So it just like sometimes it's almost like an icebreaker to do those things. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel like I would more so talk to him about it first and then it would just play into it. So that's how those kind of went. But they all went really easy going for the
Okay.
most part. Like all I'd say oh man, I shouldn't even say this, but I'm going to.
I can edit it if you don't want it.
That's all right. You do you. But I'll be honest. There was, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there's some dates I like more than others. Like in terms of, or they went better in terms of others, I should say. Just
Yeah.
like of what we did or how well we, fit and things like that. But then I remember I had one date, and it was terrible. It was so terrible, and it was terrible because like she was so oh man, she just seemed very distracted. Like
Yeah.
it feel like if you were talking to me and I was just sitting here like on my phone,
Oh, that's the
like
worst.
like you feel like you're not like you would feel terrible. Like
Ladies, don't do that during a date. That's the most annoying thing in the world.
right, yeah, absolutely. So she was her roommates were around and they were like drinking and it was chill. Like I've had that happen before, but then like she yeah, she would just like she just seemed distracted and not really into it. And then she was like, "Oh, what time is it?" Like she seemed like she was like waiting for the time to stop till it had hit an hour. And then she kind of had some like bad attitude too. And
Ugh,
so I literally was like, you know what? I'm gonna find another date from that state. And
that's interesting.
yeah,
It's
so I
funny
like
because
oh
keep going.
go.
I was gonna say I had these questions. Like you just answered a bunch of questions I just had in this episode. So keep going. That's awesome.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and it was yeah, I mean, that's why I have whatever. This is why I had 2 Florida dates is because my Florida date, I called it out. I don't care, whatever. Um, but
She can learn from it. She can learn from
yeah,
it.
she can, absolutely. And so yeah, I literally I remember after I was just like, "Man, that was not good." But then I was like, "Man, do I wrote her name on the map and I'm like, "Okay, it's fine. Well, you know what? I'll just keep her as it, that's okay." But then I remember I got a DM from another girl from Florida like a couple days later and she was very 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 attractive And I was like, this chick seems chill. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to. I just like there was something inside me. Even if that chick didn't DM me, I was
Yeah.
like, I really don't want to include the other one. And so I just and it was really hard for me to do that because I felt bad because she did agree to do it
Yeah.
and she took time out of her night to do it. But then on my end, I'm like, you know what? You just didn't fit what I was looking for, I guess.
Did she reach back out to you then after, like, if you posted it?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you explain how it, like, you're like, listen, it just wasn't good.
No, I couldn't Adam. I didn't know what to say. I posted the video where like it was the slideshow of all the girls going through, and
Yeah.
she DM'd me and she was like, "Hey, why am I not in this?" And I was like, "Oh no, what do I do?" And so I just didn't respond. I didn't know what to do, dude. I I I froze. I folded like a lawn chair. I didn't know what to do.